It's March 14th, 2024. Happy almost Nowruz. Welcome to episode 314 of Roqe. I'm Jian Gomeshi. Hello to you from Toronto. Salam dostan aziz. Durud bar shoma. Hope you're doing well wherever you are tuning in from around the world. Today's episode will feature an interview with one of our genuine top talents in the global Iranian community. She is a singer with a remarkable voice who is correctly identified as one of our best. Sara Naeini falls into that category of wondering just how much more well-known and appreciated she could be if she had not spent her formative years in Iran, where despite the encouragement of her family and the clear strength of her talent and her character, she could not sing lead or solo in a concert, and she could not legally release recordings as a solo female artist. Despite that, Sara, who is now in Los Angeles, is thriving, and you might say something of a role model as a singer for any young artist of any kind. Her positive attitude and commitment to positivity is not just refreshing, but so very valuable in times that can be dark for Iranians. Today she joins me for her first ever long-form feature-hour interview in English. It's something we've wanted for years on this show, and it's wonderful to finally have her booked and ready. So here we go. Let's get started. Good to have you with us. This is Roqe, episode 314. Coming at you. We are in the Roqe studio. Hello, smart Pegah.
Hello.
Super P behind the board there. Hello, Super P.
Hello.
You know, I was telling you guys right before we started recording, what number is the month of March?
3.
And what day is it?
14.
And what episode is this? 314. 314.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't act
Episode
surprised. I told you
well,
that.
I was trying to play along.
I know, you're trying to play along. It's okay. I told you. But it's pretty cool, right?
It is very cool.
I feel like if I wasn't an internet failure, like I don't know how to be one of these conspiracy troll
internet failure?
I don't know how to do that. I feel like there's a great conspiracy here or something. Like this is 314 and the show is 314, and I feel like there's something to do with Trump or nuclear war or something. We could relate it to something somehow.
I was going in the direction of like, what is it? Star numbers, or like there's this whole thing with like with
astrology.
Numerology. Where like certain numbers mean certain things. Like if you keep seeing 1111, you're supposed to make a wish, and it's like some divine thing.
Episode 314.
Yeah.
We
make
only do. Yeah. It doesn't. I don't know. If you're out there and you have a theory, by all means. Share it with us, and we'll have forgotten this by next week. So no use. Sara Naeini coming up. You know, I said this in the little intro there. We've been doing this show. It's almost in April. It's going to be 4 years of Roqe.
Wow.
And I think since the beginning, we've wanted Sara on the show. And almost happened a couple times. Of course, Reza Rohani, who she does a lot of work with, has been on the show multiple times. And each time I'm like, how about that Sara? You know? She is. It's so hard working, doing things within the Iranian headspace, because I do find there's a lot of hyperbole. You know, like people will introduce someone as he is the best, like author in the world, and then you'll be like the guy who wrote a magazine article. What and so I'm always tentative about saying something, but I really think she is one of the best singers of Iranian descent alive in the world today. It's just, her voice is remarkable.
Amazing. I loved her music, just listening to it, and then I had the privilege of seeing her live the last time that she was here in Toronto.
So in between modern talking and nonsense music, you actually caught some Sara Naeini music.
I don't listen to modern talking. Why did I get labeled?
What do you listen to? I don't even. What do they play
person?
on Radio Javan? Don't they play that? I mean, that's what you listen to.
I mean, let's just stick with my love for Ebi. That's it.
All right.
But yeah, I had the privilege of seeing Sara live, and she was incredible. I was actually brought to tears.
Where
by
did you
some of
see
the
her
music.
live?
The last time she was in Toronto with Reza Rohani. Yeah.
You were brought to tears.
I literally was
because
brought to tears.
you're not used to that kind of music because you're listening to fucking
modern talking.
Yeah, shisha hashed in the bad way, not in the good way. I know it's good. Schubert told me it's good. Okay, so I am very excited to have her on the program. Her English is immaculate. I've talked to her before, so I know that. But interestingly, she's one of those people who's been out of Iran for actually not for quite a while, but over a decade, and yet she hasn't really done a big interview in English. So it's nice to have her doing. It's like Farmaz Aslani, you lived in LA for a while, but never did a big interview in English. So hopefully, for some of the non-Iranians listening as well, or Iranians who don't speak Persian, this is an introduction to hearing her and her story as well. Sara Naeini joining us in just a few moments. Last week you were not here again.
I wasn't.
Usually I blame you for getting other people sick.
Yeah.
But last week I blamed Super P for getting you sick.
Thank God.
Even though it was a stomach flu or something. No, it was like a food poisoning or something, which I don't think you can contract from someone else.
No, you really can't.
But I blamed her anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know what? I'm going to let Super P take the heat on this one because usually I'm the one making everybody else sick.
Between the two of you, I blame it's one of you. It's one of the two of you that gets me sick each time. Because I'm in proximity to you in the studio.
Of course, I saw you over the weekend. And the first thing I said is, "Don't come near me, because you're going to tell me I got you sick."
By the way, you were too sick to come and do the Roqe show.
I knew this was going to come
but not
up.
too sick to go on stage
You
at some glamorous event.
It's a good thing you saw me because I was like,
you looked great. You looked fine.
Yeah, it was the makeup artist who was incredible, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it was a little weird. I was like, on the show, I was like, oh my God, our dear Pegah. I hope she's okay. She's intubated. I don't know, intubated. I don't know what was going on with you. And then there you are. I mean, you look like
you set this
$1 million
on Friday too, and sure enough, I end up in the hospital on the Sunday.
Yeah, well, anyway, you were one of the people introducing this remarkable Hamid Rahmanian was on the show last week, and this was his latest program, Song of the North, which is another piece of the Shahnameh, the story of Jian and Manijeh and Rostam, and done with his shadow theater. First of all, I love the interview last week with Hamid. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to it.
I did. I was very excited.
I hope. And did you hear me saying, poor Pegah, is she okay?
I did.
While you were like having martinis somewhere.
Oh my God.
Oh. Anyway.
He keeps saying anyway and comes back to the fact.
But Hamid's show was great. I just want to do a shout out to him. If you didn't get a chance to listen to that interview last week, do check it out. Also on that episode, Mobina Nouri. Sometimes when we have two guests and the show is long, I mean, I know when I listen to podcasts, sometimes I get through the first half and then I move on to something else, or I haven't caught up and I go to the new one. Mobina was in the second half of that. She's an LA-based artist, really, really cool creative artist, but she's also involved in AI, and she has her art assistant is a little AI called Hermes. So in the interview, I'm talking to him. So if you haven't caught that, if you didn't listen to episode 313 of Roqe, and you want to go listen to the Mobina interview, the second half of it is with Hermes or Hermes. They're talking, and it's just the best. I really enjoyed that. Speaking of Hermes and your makeup, I used to wear my cologne for a long time was something called Terre de Hermes. And at the time, it was like 15 years ago, I was wearing. Not a lot of guys were wearing it, and so it was kind of my sin. I have to say, I do think I fall into the category of like being a Middle Eastern man because I do like colognes, which I've noticed that like
that's the only reason you fall into the category of Middle Eastern men, because you like
colognes. I don't, it's a joke, it's a stereotype about. I made the joke when we did the Roqe Live about there's so much perfume and cologne in the air, but the truth is, the guys I grew up with who were generations and generations of Canadian English, it's not a thing. No, I was in a band with 3 guys for 10 years. I never saw them put cologne on, and I was always like, oh, I like this smell. I don't know where or why but you know,
we like nice things.
We're
There's nothing wrong
attracted
with
to
that.
wearing nice, scents.
Right.
So, but that said, I've always liked to kind of be an individual, and so I've worn what I thought was something that not a lot of people were wearing, you know, which at the time with the Hermes, I thought what that was. So there's a guy who is in Toronto, and some people might know him. He does makeup. His name is Milad. Is his name Milad Beauty? Is that his born name? No. Like, is that Persian beauty?
His name
is
is Milad.
Okay.
And
his
what
brand
he goes by, or his brand is Milad Beauty.
Milad Beauty. Really sweet guy.
Yes.
I know he does makeup for the stars.
He did a fantastic job, so much so that Jian thought I wasn't sick.
Because you, sorry, but you weren't. But anyway, Milad, a lovely guy.
Yes.
There was this Nimani event. Nimani, who had been on the show, he then had a pop-up store, and Milad Beauty was there. What's his name? It's Milad.
Yes.
Yeah. Do I have to say Milad Beauty each time?
No.
I'm trying to help his brand.
You can.
He does very well. He doesn't need my help. But anyway, I've never done this before, but I saw him and like I hugged him. Hey man, how you doing? And then or salam or whatever we're supposed to say. And then he smelled great. He had some kind of scent, some kind of mystical Middle Eastern thing going on, you know?
And you had to know what it was.
I've never done this before.
Okay.
I've never asked a guy, not that there's anything wrong with that.
Right.
What are you wearing? So that I could have it, right? And but I just felt like I could do. Super B, were you there when I did this?
I unfortunately I wasn't
you
there.
were not there. You were at the event.
I was in the event, but
Yeah. All right. Well, so you missed this. You
this
missed
moment.
me accosting Milad Beauty, asking him, what are you wearing? And oh, that's a beautiful. I mean, first I was complimenting him, but then I was like, where can I get some of that shit? You know. So then he's like, and he wants to promote them, I guess, or something. So he sprays a little bit on me, and I love it.
Okay, so what is it?
I'm not going to say. Because I don't want everybody to wear it. I will say that he told me where I could get it. And there's a place here in Toronto called Niche Essence.
I knew it.
Shout out to, you know those people?
Yes, I do. And I was actually just going to tell you that I have something that I could tell you about in terms of a scent, but that's the one.
Shout out to them, because what they do is
incredible.
They bring in these specialty, they're Iranians, of course.
Of course.
You see, this is what I'm saying.
We like
and
nice things.
And the thing that I like is from Oman.
Yes.
It's don't say what it is. Don't say what it is.
Now I know.
I don't want all these people running around with my scent, you know. Now that Milad Beauty is running around with it. I mean, he shouldn't be wearing it. It's mine. I really love it. Anyway, so I went to, he told me, go talk to these people. Well, that's the thing. Maybe we should do an essay on this, or an episode on, because I didn't know that there was lasting and long lasting. I happen
oil-based
to
versus not, like,
well, and some of them are big name ones. I've been wearing the Dior. It sounds ridiculous now, but I've been wearing the Dior one, the Sauvage one, and that one. I put it on. It's gone.
Yeah, it evaporates.
It's like in 10 minutes, it's gone. What's the point? I have to run around with it. So this one, this lasts.
Okay, now that I know you're into that kind of cologne, there's another brand.
What do you mean that kind of cologne?
Well, because it's different, like the cologne that you've now found.
No, but I do wear the stuff that's I don't even know what you call it, a little darker. Like I was wearing the Black Orchid Tom Ford for a while. Those kind of, I don't even know.
Yeah,
it makes sense. It's from Oman. That's what I.
Well, that's the thing. It's because they're oil based.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you know so much about this stuff?
I love perfume. I mean,
Did you look it up when you were sick?
Not to wear perfume every time I come in here, because there's certain perfumes of mine that.
The fabulous Kian also used to wear perfume when she came in.
Yeah.
The Iranian women love their perfume as well. I mean, based on you two. I don't know. But yeah, so anyways, this Niche Essence, they
so
figured out which one
things.
it was, and I'm all excited about this new scent. But that's my experience with Milad Beauty.
Now I'm excited to see which one it is.
Yeah. Well.
Thanks to Milad.
you know the country it's from. That was earlier this week. Also, a couple of days ago was Chaharshanbeh Soori.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Chaharshanbeh or Chaharshanbeh?
People always make fun of me.
Why is this language I am made fun of for my Persian not being 100% where it should be, and yet I keep getting these curveballs thrown at me.
Yeah,
is it shambeh or shambeh?
everyone says shambeh, Chaharshanbeh,
Of
Soori,
course.
right? But then if I text someone and I'm typing in like Finglish and I say like SHAMBE or whatever, then they're like, oh no, it's not with an M. And I'm like, but it,
And
you
this
know.
is, and now if we ask Super P, Pariduz ke as Mashado Made, she's going to say, oh, you can say both, right? Is that what?
No, I don't say.
What do you say?
When you want to write, you write shambeh with N.
Uh-huh.
But when you're talking, because it's easier to use M, you know,
You say,
you say
shambeh. That makes
But,
no sense.
but you can say shambeh, like nobody
But it
will.
sounds so weird to say
It doesn't-
Chaharshanbeh.
Also, what Chaharshanbeh is the day, right?
Yeah.
Wednesday,
Yes.
Chaharshanbeh. So all my life I've been hearing people say Chaharshanbeh, and I've been saying Chaharshanbeh, and then I find out it's Chaharshanbeh. It's like, you know what she said the other day? Bezarman bardaram. You know, instead of vardaram, you know
Yeah.
how they say bardaram? Because
Yeah.
that's the same thing, right?
The verb is bardashtan with B. It's not with
See,
the
what's
V.
with these Persians?
I'm never
they're
going to master
changing
this
the-
language.
It's not that complicated.
That's what it feels like.
It is complicated.
No,
if
it's
there's two ways to say the word that are both correct, it's complicated.
It's-
Super P,
not
admit
correct.
that Farsi is harder than English.
No, it's not. The correct word is with the B, bardashtan or shambeh. You know, it's
Right.
but when you're talking, it's okay to use M. You know, but the correct one is.
Yeah, well, I know. And I know that this is exhausting for some people who are rolling their eyes out
Yeah,
there
because
going,
their
wow.
Farsi is so much better.
Yeah, you know, why are you guys so dumb and what? But I mean, it is a complicating factor. If there's something that has been said so many times that you think that that's the way, I'm gonna have to bring my sister back on to explain, and then to say language is fluid and please accept it. I mean, I think this is an outrage. Why would you say shambeh my whole life, shambeh, when it's actually shanbeh?
Because it's easier, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
And because
I don't think
language
that's
is
the reason,
fluid.
by the way. I don't trust you, Super P. Is that the reason? Because it's easier?
In pronunciation, it's easier. So
I think it's to weed people like you and I out. You know? It's like,
Those
he said
non-native
Vardar.
speakers.
Yeah, he doesn't understand that it's Bardar. Anyway, the Chaharshanbeh Soori festivity, which is the precursor to Nowruz. It's the
last eve of the last Wednesday of the year.
for those non-Iranians listening who listen to a program that is focused on Iranian ideas and issues, but are so still so ignorant of what's happening that they don't know. I don't know who I'm explaining this to. People who clearly are interested in Iranian stuff probably know this, but I didn't until a few years ago. The previous Wednesday, which sounds like Chaharshanbeh, but it's Chaharshanbeh, is the day that you jump over some fire.
See, but it's not even the last Wednesday. This is where it gets even more
don't get me
complicated.
started. It's
I
actually
swear.
Tuesday.
It's the eve of the last Wednesday, so it's technically actually Tuesday night.
Yeah, no, don't even, yeah. And then
And then this year it's even more convoluted because it was a leap year, and technically there is another Tuesday before Nowruz.
try
but
explaining to a non-Iranian about when Nowruz
Yeah.
is. It's on the 19th. Isn't it usually on the spring equinox? Yeah, but it's not. It's spring equinox is 2 days earlier this year. What? Can't it just be January 1st at midnight? You know?
No.
Yeah. But we love that. We love
Yes,
the
we do.
idiosyncrasies. Yes. So I went, here in Toronto, I hate this becoming too Toronto centric because of course the majority of our audience isn't even in Toronto, but for those of you who obviously at this point know that Toronto has become this major epicenter of Iranianism, Tehranto, as we say, the greater Toronto area. And we saw that with the protests and the uprising gatherings, demonstrations, 80,000 people or 50,000, whatever it was, that gathered in Richmond Hill on that one day in October of 2022. But this was one of the first times that a Nowruz period celebration was neither marred by COVID nor by let's dim things down a little bit because there's people being killed in the streets of Iran. So this is the first time in, say, 4 or 5 years where really everybody's out, and,
Right.
and I could not believe. I went to, it was at Mel Lastman Square, which is sort of midtown of Toronto, which is where the Persians gather. I couldn't believe how many people there were there. I went there to see Talented Anahita was up on stage, and I wanted to, get a sense of the events there. I was trying to look for Savi Roham and Kaveh was there, but I couldn't find them. There was easily 50,000 people there going apeshit.
I saw the videos. I couldn't believe it.
Richten Tuyin Mamlekat. It was amazing. It was truly amazing to see. I was like, wow. If you didn't know the Iranians are here, the Iranians.
Yeah.
You know how we have the joke about Iranians calling Canadians Khareji?
Right.
They really are at this point. It's like the city is Iranian, at least that part of the city.
No, it's not even just that part of the city, because I saw videos. There was, again, not to be too Toronto-centric, but there were videos of like a park gathering in Richmond Hill, and it was the same thing. It's like as far as the eye could see, there was people, and it was super busy. And
now, with that said, I did post a little video of that, and I had some people say ours was just as big in Vancouver, so we know there's a big community there, and of course somebody in LA said there was lots.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, the Iranian diaspora continues to grow. I think even in the time of Roqe, like in the last 4 years, think about how immensely, just in the greater Toronto area, let alone around the world, the emigration of people, the people leaving Iran in the hundreds of thousands and the millions at this point since over the last 20 years. I think the stat was that in 2001, there were about 2 million Iranians outside of Iran. Imagine that. That's only 23 years ago, and some estimates now say 8-9 million. Of course, it's partly sad in the sense that it's a testament to people wanting to needing to leave the situation in Iran, whether for political reasons or economic reasons or just tired of the situation there. But wow. You come to Toronto at this point, and this has been a niggling point for me that people like this Super P, they come from a couple of weeks ago from Mashhad. They have no reason to speak English here, because it's just Persian. You can just hang out, work for Persian businesses, go to Persian restaurants, go to the Chaharshanbeh Soori festivities.
Which I wasn't there, but
yeah, you were there.
It was crazy, yeah.
Yeah, you actually don't even like these things. Actually, you're not a good example of this.
No.
And you've worked very hard at your English, and it's great.
I didn't even like these kind of gatherings when I was in Iran.
Let me ask you something. In Iran, because I know that obviously Nowruz is a huge deal, but I also know that the regime doesn't love Nowruz, right? Because it's not really a religious event and stuff. So they kind of abide by it, but it's not something that they're really digging. So in Mashhad, which is a bit more of a religious, not just a bit, it is generally a religious city, despite the fact that it has a lot of cool people and a great underground music scene and all those things. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. I know Mashhadis are cool, but given that it is sort of a religious city, are there these festivities for Chaharshanbeh Soori and in a big way and Nowruz and stuff like publicly?
No. Well, people gather together in parks and like in their houses. I don't know, like kind of,
Well, parks is public.
Areas. Yeah, but again, police can arrest you. They can come and arrest you.
So there isn't
like
people don't hang out at the town square in Mashhad and jump over fire.
They do actually.
Oh. So what's happening?
It's like
Chaharshanbeh Shambeh. She says yes and no.
No, it's the same thing in Iran. You do all these things, but also police might come and arrest you.
So it's not.
Run the risk.
It's not an organized public.
No.
The town council doesn't say, "Hey, everybody, it's Chaharshanbeh Soori coming."
No, not at all.
I see.
Yeah.
But people do it at their backyards. And
people do
But
that.
there's always so many videos that come out from inside of Iran for Chaharshanbeh Soori where it's like super crazy.
Sorry, did you say Chaharshanbeh?
No, I'm sticking with Chaharshanbeh.
Right.
I'm
just
sticking
making
to
sure.
That. But there's all these videos that come out every year with these like huge bonfires and people gathering, and we know that historically it's always been a time where yes, the police are still out in full force, but it tends to be a little bit more lax because they can't get to everyone. So I feel like there is that gathering and there is that opportunity to celebrate and take advantage of the fact that it is Chaharshanbeh Soori.
But the big difference between here and Iran is that it's safe to do these things
Yeah.
here,
Right.
but in Iran, like it's like a war zone, you know. It's
Yeah,
like a
of
country
course.
in war.
A friend of
It's
mine
so
got ticketed here
Yeah, it's so dangerous
Wait,
to.
for what?
for a fire.
Well, it was funny because on stage, on the other day
Yeah.
at the Mel Lastman Square, there was, they were like, "Hey guys, don't don't stop lighting fires everywhere." It's like, you can't actually burn the city down. It's not you're in a,
No, because you need a permit in order to turn on a
Right,
fire within
right.
the city. And so I think it was like years ago this happened, but we all went to like a beach or something like that and just turned on a fire, and then the cops showed up and they gave someone ticket.
But listen, I kid about, I say a lot about these Persians and the way we say these things, but I have to say, it was kind of a point of pride. Like I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Look at this. Look at the size and strength and celebratory feeling of this
Yeah, I love it.
Iranian community, you know? And the fact that so oftentimes it's a demonstration or something, you can imagine some people kind of seeing it and going, what are these people up to? Or if they don't understand the slogans. But if you were walking by that and you were non-Iranian, you'd be terrified. You'd run away. No, you would look at it, and I think you'd look at it and think this is really cool. It was
Yeah.
music. People were dancing. It was really fun. It was a really nice vibe.
I think there's so much to enjoy about Nowruz, even if you're not Persian.
Oh, it's the best.
There really is so much to
It's
enjoy.
it
And
is the best.
It's such a great feeling to see. You know, we talk about the fact that there's more Iranians in not only in Toronto and LA and Vancouver, all over the world. But for me personally, you know, having grown up here, it's such a different feeling celebrating Nowruz now versus 20 years ago. I didn't feel Nowruz the way I feel it now.
Yeah.
You know, 20 years ago when I was younger.
Because you got the community
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now the community's here. So many more people know
It's
about
the
Nowruz.
one thing. Well, I told you, it was 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know if you were on the show, but I remember 2 or 3 years ago when it really hit me when I went into my local Metro, which is a supermarket, and I live in the beaches. I live in the downtown area of Toronto that isn't very diverse. It's kind of a white area, and I go into the supermarket at the beaches, and there was like Nowruz half-seen plants, like it was like,
Yeah.
I was like, what? And Happy Nowruz.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I have to say, Nowruz, it really is the Persian New Year. It is one of the few things I can think of, because I'm a person who likes to be critical of everything, to think critically. I try to be, it's the one thing about that I can't find anything critical about. There's nothing but positivity around Nowruz in terms of what it's about, in terms of its accessible nature of it, its populist nature, non-denominational, non-religious, non-political. It's just like, come in, everybody, come in and let's restart. Let's
Exactly.
restart a new day. How
Beautiful.
beautiful is
Really.
that? Yeah. What else did I want to say before we get to Sara Naeini? Oh, shout out to the birthday boy tomorrow, Reza Shah.
The birthday boy.
Yeah. He's I feel like Reza Shah is growing in popularity all the time.
Why is that?
I don't know. What do you mean? Why do I think that?
Oh, yeah. Well,
because
what have you seen? Like,
well, because I think that there are maybe people who obviously value a time before the current Islamic Republic, and look back to even a time within that, and who the heroes of the new infrastructure of Iran were, and this guy who, despite being a military strongman, etc., was a remarkable nation builder, and that people. I mean, we have an episode with the great professor. I just love the guy. He's quite old, but he endured two long days of interviews with me when he put out his book about Reza Shah a couple of years ago. Dr. Shah Bakhash, who his book about Reza Shah is amazing, The Rise and Fall of. We have an episode called The Rise of Reza Shah that every week, like we put it out 2 or 3 years ago,
Right.
every week it's got a few thousand listens. Like it just keeps going. It's amazing. There's always interest in that episode. People are, I think, genuinely craving a chance to discover or celebrate the legacy of Reza Shah.
I think even in the last year and a half, with what we saw happen in Iran, after the killing of Mahsa Amini, the conversation being centralized around hijab and things like that, I think that also has a little bit of a part in this, because Reza Shah was the one to introduce reforms in terms of women's rights and in removing the mandatory hijab during his time and things like that. So even there, you see the correlation.
He didn't just do that. He made it mandatory to not wear the hijab. So, But anyway, the birthday boy.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Reza Shah. Tavallo. This weekend, the Nowruz galas start. I just want to do a little plug for Bidmeshk, where I'll be emceeing, and that will feature. This is it. By the way, in Toronto, again, another testament to how the community has grown. My cousin was here from DC a couple weeks ago, and I was saying, you guys have these Nowruz galas in DC, right? He's like, Nowruz gala, and I was like, yeah, it's like 1,000 people come, and there's it's very glamorous, and there's food and drink and a band plays and he was like, no, we don't really have that. We don't. And I was thinking, I was like, he's like, oh, you have one of those? And I was like, no, we have like
15.
I mean, really, I think maybe, honestly, probably at least 10.
At least 10. No, really.
10 major Nowruz galas where people pay anywhere from $300 to $700 a ticket to go to these things.
That's right.
He couldn't believe it. I mean, it's like this community is so incredibly fertile with this stuff, and so one of those is this Bidmeshk that on the weekend Anahita is dancing at it. I'm doing some emceeing, and Black Cats are performing, and Shapal Shapare is going to be in town for this, and he's going to be here in the Roqe studio for an interview that we will have next Thursday, the official first day of spring, but not Nowruz, because that changes all the time. The Saat Tafil is on Tuesday. So, and not on Chaharshanbeh either.
Chaharshanbeh.
So, looking forward to Bidmeshk, looking forward to the other Nowruz galas. Are you going to any of these things?
No, not this year, actually, surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah. I have family visiting from Iran, so it's going to be very family oriented. We're going to do a bunch of things at home. Yeah. Very
nice. I mentioned in the coming days on Roqe, Shapal Shapare, Aida Rostgu. In the Roqe studio.
Yeah, really looking forward to that.
The young, amazing singer and songwriter who's obviously Iranian, but based in Germany. I think this is, certainly her first time in the Roqe studio. I think this past year she was at that For Iran event, but I don't think she's come to Canada a lot. So it's going to be really nice to have her here. One of my favorite guests we've ever had, an amazing academic and a man who became quite well known for the series How to Become a Tyrant on Netflix, Dr. Fatali Moqaddam, who focuses on democracy and the lack thereof around the world, and in Iran as well. Of course, he has a brand new book. What's the new book called? Do we know the name of his book? Can you look that up? Dr. Fatali Moqaddam. They're sending me the book so I can obviously read it before the interview. He's going to be on the show coming up. Kamiyar, one of our faves, the amazing singer, are you looking up Dr. Fatali Moqaddam's book? And I think it's just coming out. And Nusha Farin will be in the Roqe studio.
So many exciting interviews.
The Nusha Farin, yes. Very much looking forward to having her here as well. Did you get the name of that? No. What were you doing, Super P? I'm like, can you what's the name of it? And then I see her, she's like chatting with other people.
No, I didn't. My phone was in the other room, so I had to find it.
All right. Well, it doesn't matter. Will Dr. Fatali?
The Psychology of Revolution.
The Psychology of Revolution. How much am I looking forward to reading that book? He's a psychologist, but he focuses on authoritarianism, democracy. His books are amazing. His presence is fabulous. I'm so looking forward to having him back on the show. Dr. Fatali Moqaddam. All right. You can hear us on various platforms. Subscribe. Become a sponsor of Roqe.
Patron.
Info at Roqe Media is how to get in touch with us if you want to be one of our sponsors. Thank you, Pegah. I think we should get to our guest who's been
Yes.
patiently waiting, and I've been so looking forward to this
Thank
interview.
you.
All right, here we go. My feature guest today is a distinguished Iranian-American singer based in Los Angeles. If you are a fan of any contemporary Persian music at all, you've likely heard her incredible voice. Take a listen to this.
شاید بگی شبها پر از تنهایی ماست، شاید بگی پایان راه ناپیداست، شاید ولی نور کمی تابیده باشه روی همین خوابی که فعلا قصه ماست. خورشید اگر دور و اگر چلای ابراست، پشت نقاب زندگی راهی به فرداست. دنیا رو با خنده به شادی مبتلا کن، واگیر خندت چاره ما.
There you go, a little taste of a brand new song called Shambeh, featuring Reza Rohani and my featured guest for today, the very talented Sara Naeini. Sara was born in Shiraz, made her professional debut in the Iranian underground music scene at the age of 18. She quickly gained recognition as a backing vocalist for well-known Iranian artists such as Ali Reza Assad and Mohammad Esfahani. Her talent caught the attention of Anushiravan Rohani, who introduced her to his son Reza Rohani. This collaboration, of course, led to a fruitful partnership that continues, with Sara eventually relocating to the United States to tour and work with Reza. Her remarkable voice has won her fans around the world, and she has a number of songs that have been unqualified hits, you might say, in Iranian music. She also has a strong social conscience. Sara's activism was evident as she participated in events like Live for Liberty in Los Angeles, or singing for Let Her Sing in 2021, demonstrating her commitment to social change and freedom in Iran. She's just coming off a big show in LA she had with the aforementioned Reza last month, and right now, Sara Naeini joins me from Los Angeles. Hello.
Hello, hi. I'm really happy to be here, and thank you for a beautiful introduction. Thank you very much.
It's such a pleasure. You know, we've had this show for almost 4 years now, and I think for almost 4 years we've been trying to get you on the show, and we came close a couple of times, but we were having trouble getting in touch with you. And then doing some research on you and watching some of your old interviews with Sina Valiolo and others, apparently this is a thing with you. People have trouble getting in touch with you.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I don't know. I'm still working on it. I know it is not a good thing, but many people complain about this to me, and I'm really, really working on it, and I'm really bad with emails. I'm much better with text, but I'm so sorry.
I
But
thought it
that's
was,
true.
it's not a sort of part of the persona to be mysterious or something like that.
No, it's not. I simply, I'm too busy in my head that I just forget.
Right.
Unfortunately, and I think I have ADHD, and that is one of the reasons that
Right.
I really can't just focus sometimes.
Which is a
But
great
I
quality.
don't mean to just be disrespectful to anyone.
No, not at all. I kid, but I mean, lack of focus is a great quality to have in a teacher as well. So you're, you're hitting it out of the park all around. It is a joy to have you on the show, and actually, that song is quite a joy to me. I was really happy with that song, hearing that song when it came out in December, just 3 months ago. It's a light and positive mention. I mean, message. It's called Shambeh. It's like a call for laughter. It occurs to me, we've just had the Iranian singer and writer Maziar Falahi on the show. You probably know Maziar, and he was making the case that he really wants to be done with sad music for now. I mean, in his case, that's what's made him famous. But he just, he feels like we've been through so much as Iranians, historically, and certainly in the last couple of years, that he wants to have this shad message, this happy message for people. Do you feel like we as a global Iranian community need to be creating and consuming positive messages? And is that what part of doing Shambeh was about?
Yeah, actually, for me, it's always the case, because I always choose the lyrics that has just positive meanings and positive messages. And I usually avoid sad songs and like songs that shows hope, helplessness, and like being um, not having so much hope, because I really think we as Iranians, we need some hope and some happiness, because I believe whatever you think about and whatever you give energy to, that will happen. So I think we need that. We need some happiness to happen. We need some good things to happen. So we have to talk about them, we have to perform about them, and we have to just look at positive and good things in order to make ourselves a little bit happier and make our future better.
Well, you did a great job with that song Khande. But I mean, it does occur to me that, at least in my life, the songs that move me the most throughout my life, you know, are probably the sad songs. I mean, the stuff you listen to when you've just broken up with somebody or something like that. What is your relationship with sad songs then?
Well, actually, I like the sad songs, but I don't like the sad lyrics. Like you can have like romantic songs, but they don't have to be hopeless.
Right.
They can, you still can just grieve the one that you have lost. You have, that person has already gone, but you don't need to be just that sad about it, that think that life is done and there's nothing more to go on. You can be sad. Sadness is part of our like human nature. We have to, sadness has a meaning, as a message, but
it's also sort of Persian, part of the Persian thing, isn't it? I mean,
exactly,
Gamgeen, Daryush, you know,
something to go on.
Right.
So I just want to have that message inside a sad song, that I can go on. I know everything. Like Reza and I have. I performed one of his songs that it's called "Ruz Didar Jodai," and it says that getting separate from something that you love is not always a bad thing. It is sad, but it can be a meaning for a new beginning. So, and I love that song.
Right.
I mean, that kind of things. Definitely, we have to listen to sad songs because we always need it.
Well, and I mean, you know, if you zoom back to about a year and a half ago, and after the killing of Mahsa Amini, and all of there wasn't a lot of bandwidth to be singing or doing anything happy, right? So there's times when you just can't even go there. We'll come to that. I want to ask you a little bit about activism and Iran and stuff. But before we get there, I mean, this might seem like an obvious thing to say about you, but you seem very passionate about singing and music, right?
Yes.
Well,
very much.
Well, part of where I want to go with that is that I've heard you say that to become a world-class singer like yourself, it's more important to, or you believe an interest and a passion for singing and a desire to work hard are necessarily more important than just talent. Talk to me about that.
Definitely, I believe in that because usually there is this wrong thinking about singing, that people think that they have to have something to start singing, and that thing that they need is their voice, which they can talk with. They can produce the sound so they can sing, but it doesn't mean that everyone has that commitment and that energy to do what it needs to be a singer and to sing that well. But it definitely means that you just need practice, you just need the passion and time. Of course, time is a very important element in just learning a skill. You can't have any skill overnight.
Right.
But talent in singing is just related to your ear, your music ears, not your voice. it is important, but not as much as persistency and practice.
خالی بی پایان صورت تازه توست هر شب و روز اینجاست فکر آغازی از نوست یک شب از این شبها یا که یک روز زیبا گذر عمر شاید بشه آهسته از ما خونه با ما
I love that in the sense that it gives the chance. You know, everybody can do it. Everybody can have the opportunity. But as someone who is not just a great singer yourself, and beloved around the world, but who also teaches music and singing, are you telling me there's never a time when someone walks in and you just want to say, look, honey, it's not in the cards for you. You don't have the tools to be a good singer. Don't waste your money, your time. Is that never the case?
No, actually, I don't say that to anyone, because this is my belief that if you want to do anything, you can do it. You just have to put there what it takes. And I believe you can do it, because I have had a student who didn't have a good ear, but she practiced so hard that she became a singer. No one could even imagine that she could sing, but she did it. So I believe, but she tried so hard, harder than other people that had the talent, but she succeeded. So I believe it can happen.
That's amazing to hear. That is great to hear. And I mean, someone would look at you with your lineage, with your mom who was a famous singer, and think it kind of just came naturally to you. Was that true when you were a kid? Was it obvious that you were a good singer, or did it take that kind of work and commitment and passion and time, as you say, for you as well?
Actually, it did, definitely. I always say no one just is born with singing voice. So even if you don't go and learn it academically, you just sing. You just sing every day, like everywhere you go, and then it means you're practicing it. Yeah, for me, it was kind of natural, because I thought everyone is so normal for everyone to sing, because everywhere I went with my mom used to sing, and I was like, okay, so everyone sings. And all of my family, actually my aunts, my uncles, they all sing. So for me, it was like whenever they told me to sing, I used to sing. I wasn't ashamed, I wasn't embarrassed of anything. I was like, okay, so it's a very normal thing to do. But then I grew up and I found out that no, not everyone sings everywhere.
Well, especially, I mean, you were born into the Islamic Republic of Iran, but even before we get to that, I mean, your parents were, I mean, your mom was both a great singer and a gymnast, right? And
yes.
and so you also become athletic and a singer, things that were not the encouraged norm in the first decade or two of the Islamic Republic of Iran, but also an interesting dichotomy in the sense that you know, I remember back to my high school, there were the artsy kids, and I would be in that category, and then there were the athletes, the jocks, you know, and they didn't really intersect. It seems like in your case they did, or they have. Is there some way in which gymnastics and singing meet for you?
Well, maybe the hard work and passion, because I loved gymnastics. And I used to dream about, I wanted to be a world champion. And when it didn't happen, I just switched it to something else. I used to sing from when I was very little, but it wasn't that important for me. It was something fun. It was, but gymnastics was the serious thing. But when I couldn't do it anymore, I had to channel it somewhere. I was a hyperactive kid, so I had to do something. So I just channeled it to singing. And then it became my passion. But I worked as hard as I used to do the gymnastic. And the thing in gymnastic is you have to be brave to do the hard stuff, and you just have to go for it, and you can't doubt in the middle of the air, then you will have injuries. So I do the same thing in singing. When I sing, I say just go for it. You can't doubt what you're doing, and I think that part just helped me.
You know what?
In singing.
That's actually an amazing point, which is that all of the great athletes and some of the professional athletes I've known, who started young, working at their game or their athleticism, whatever their sport was, have to be incredibly disciplined, waking up at a certain hour, watching what they eat, working their ass off. And sometimes in the arts, there's a romance around, I can sleep until noon and then, I'll drink whiskey and I'll be a great singer. And so it actually makes sense that the kind of training that you would get as an athlete being applied to the arts would put you in the place that you need to be, which is, hey man, this takes real discipline and work, right?
Yeah, exactly. For singing, you actually have to be strict about lots of things. For example, you have to sleep enough. You can't just laugh so hard. You can't cry that much. You shouldn't talk that much.
You can't.
And
What do you mean you can't laugh and cry? I've never heard that.
You can laugh, but you have to just keep it low. Otherwise, you just hurt your vocal cords. Right. So it is hard. Right. And there are certain foods that you have to just be careful with. Alcohol, you have to kind of go mild with it. No drugs, no nothing. And it makes it harder. But if you love it, these are the disciplines that you have to just do in order to be a good singer. And of course, practice and just dedication to put some time and energy. And of course, you face some failures, some negative comments and everything, but you just have to stick with it and just not give up.
من و تو سوی فرداها، من و تو راهی رویا، من و تو عاشق و شیدا، من و تو سوی فرداها، من و تو راهی رویا، من و تو عاشق و شیدا، من و تو مست و بی پروا.
Well, and it goes without saying, I guess, if your dual passions and the things that you were doing as a young person, albeit in the cultural center of Shiraz, were gymnastics and music and singing, that you had the kind of family environment that didn't sort of suppress those areas other than engineering or becoming a doctor, or even worse, going into some stereotypical female role of having to just be a, wife, mother, or whatever, that you were encouraged to do these things. Talk to me about the family environment that you had.
Yeah, actually, it is funny because in art, especially when you work as an independent artist, life is not that easy. So especially financially, sometimes you struggle, and it's just normal. So there has been some times that I just sit down and I think, I wish my parents could tell me there was another way to be a doctor or an engineer or something, but they just told me to be a singer, to be an artist. I'm happy because I'm good at it, but sometimes I think maybe if I had a choice, I would choose something else. But that was the obvious choice for me.
And you've also talked about your love to. I'm gonna hang on a second. See, I was laughing and crying too much. I've lost my voice. You've also talked in the past about how you would like to go into acting, and so which is also a performance. I mean, it sounds like it's in you that your vision of yourself is to be in front of an audience or to perform.
Yes, that's true. I love that energy from people, especially live concerts. And when I sing, it's the most beautiful thing in my life. And every time I have a concert, every disappointment, every just negative feelings just go away. And I'm like, okay, I know why I'm here then, and this is why I sacrificed so much. This feeling is what I think I was born to do. So yeah, I
But it's
love that.
also opening yourself up, isn't it, Sarah? I mean, you know, and every time you go on stage, I mean, even with somebody who's so super talented like yourself, you open yourself up to somebody criticizing you. I mean, the Iranians are not exactly known for not being critical, you know. So you have to be ready for that too, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, I love singing so much that when I do it, I don't think about anything or anyone. I remember when I was just a teenager, I used to practice Celine Dion songs, and so loud every time our neighbor was just, come on, calm down. And I was like, no. I'll just went on and just continued what I was doing. Just and at that time, I didn't have techniques or anything, so it was just shouting.
Right.
But I didn't care because I loved doing it.
I I
Still
I,
the same.
I heard that about you, that you're one of your idols is Celine Dion, which of course, as a Canadian, got me all feeling very proud
Oh,
that you love Celine. So you're this kid growing up in Iran, even after the revolution in 1979 and in the Islamic Republic, etc. Because of the environment you've explained around you, you thought that singing was normal and it's something you could pursue and go into. Tell me about finding out that this wasn't necessarily a career, certainly as a solo artist, that you could pursue as a woman in Iran.
well, it happened very late in my life, just very little before I came here to US. But all the time I was like seeing myself, imagine myself to sing in front of an audience, and I never thought that I had to give up. Um, but yeah, I found out the time that they just told me that I couldn't even sing as a backing vocal. I was like, they didn't give me any chance to perform on stage because I was like, okay, if I can't be a lead singer, at least I can be on stage and sing.
Right.
And then at that time, they said, no, you can't even sing as a backing vocal. That was the time that I was just, I can't. I just can't stop singing and I just can't stop being on stage. I love that. This is my whole life.
Yeah.
So I just have to get out and do what I love.
Sorry, let me take 3 steps back. First of all, even though you were a backup singer, I mean, I've seen some of these videos. You were so good that people were noticing you. Like Anushiravan Rohani notices you not when you're singing lead on stage,
Yeah.
but as a backup singer, right? And that the famous time he, you know, calls Reza Rohani and says, "You got to see this woman. You got to hear her." Why would? But that's allowed. I can never figure out the topsy turvy world of repression in Iran. So try and make this figure. Maybe help me with this. Why would you not be allowed to sing backup? I thought that's what women are allowed to do.
Yeah, they just banned me to do that.
For
Other women could do that. I don't know. They just at some point they said you can't sing.
and how does that happen? Who tells you that?
Um, it's called Ministry of something.
Right. Air
I can't
shot.
translate it. Yes,
Yeah.
Ershad. They just decide if you can
And
sing
what they say? You get a
publicly.
phone call, or you get a letter or something?
No, whenever there was a concert and they invited me to be a backing vocal, they have to give the names to Ershad so they can decide if those person could attend and be a part of the band. And they always said she can't be in the band.
And do you have any sense of why they did that?
Well, actually, I asked them once because they took me the day that I had a flight to America.
Mm.
They just took me in, and the question was, "Why do you sing?" I was like, because I love it. What about how about like other singers in this country, like Ehsan Khajamiri, Alireza Assar? Why do you think they sing? I have the same reason. And the guy said, no, God has forbidden women to sing. I was like, okay, I can't reason with this guy. So I said, you're right. I am so sorry.
Right.
What else did I say? And then I said, why do you just keep on tabs on me? I don't even work. I haven't even worked recently. And I don't talk.
And by the way, you weren't
not,
you weren't like a political activist or something.
no,
right?
not at all. But he said, people love you. That is why.
Yes, that makes
like,
sense. You were starting to make an impression. We can't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the reason. Because people are noticing you.
فریاد شلوغی روز کم داره صدا تو هنوز تعبیر سکوت تو بود خورشید هرچی که سرود هر واژه که از تو گسست بیداری خون شکست ای ظلمت خواب امین از تو آه از تو درید باید دل سپرد بی دلیل انگار باید دل سپرد تا عبور از تکرار حرفی تازه بود در سکوت سایه بار.
You were part of that. There's a wonderful annual benefit concert that happens in California, usually in San Francisco, I think, called Let Her Sing, and you were part of that 2 or 3 years ago, and it is about creating consciousness around and support for women in Iran who, of course, like we say, can't be recording artists if they're the lead vocalist, can't perform on stage to mixed audiences if they're the lead vocalist. What can you just talk about what you think, how much you think we've lost or we lose, how much talent there is in Iran that is undiscovered because women don't have those opportunities?
I'm sure you know, and everyone knows that it is a lot. There are many, many women, young women, just trying to sing despite all the suppressions. There are many talents in Iran, and I always feel so bad. I see they're trying so hard, but unfortunately at some point they just give up because they can't do anything. And we're losing half of our voice of our community. And recently I've noticed that people, even the taste, musically taste of people has changed. Before the revolution, women used to sing higher notes and people loved it. And after the revolution, because this is my belief, because people are used to hear male voices, and now their taste in women's voice is lower voices, not high notes. It's changed.
Wow. Yeah, that would make that would make sense, but that's kind of devastating.
It is.
That
it is.
even the way Iranians, at least Iranians in Iran, let's say, if they're listening to state radio or whatever, even the way what they hear as the norm is going to change if 50% of the population are not allowed to be the lead thing that you hear, right?
Exactly. That's true. Yeah.
What was coming to America like for you?
Well, I always have loved America since I was a kid. I always loved to come here because I love.
You know, Celine Dion's from Canada, not America, right?
Yeah, I know, but I also love American movies,
Oh,
and I always used to see these houses with just backyards and lawns and everything, and I was like, oh my God, I want to go there, live in that houses, and all see all those things, and just be in that environment. So when it happened, when I came here, I was so happy. Of course, it was hard. Like the first couple of years, it was really hard, but I was happy, and the sense of freedom that I had here was worth everything.
mm,
Even just going to a coffee shop and just sit there by yourself and just drink without being scared or nervous to be arrested or something.
yeah.
It felt good. And the first time I went on stage, I cried before. I was like, I can't believe I'm just singing on the stage without hijab, and I'm singing anything I want.
Where was that? Where was the first time you got to do that?
Sacramento. Sacramento was the first.
Was it your own gig, or were you singing with someone?
Yeah, me and Reza, we were together.
Wow.
Yeah, it was our first concert.
By the way, your English is immaculate for someone who came like a decade ago or something, and I'm honored. I think this is one of your first, long version English interview you've done. Did you speak English when you were in Iran, just listening to Celine Dion songs?
That's the thing. Because I loved American movies, I just fell in love with English as well. So even when this is funny, because when I wanted to talk like to God or wanted to pray, I prayed in English. I don't know, for some reason I was more comfortable.
Wow.
So I love English.
That would go over big. That would go over big with the mullahs, I think. I'm still praying, just in English. Yeah.
Yeah. So English was the very interesting language for me. I just always wanted to learn it, and I don't know, maybe because I'm a singer, I had a good ear for pronunciations as well. And when I tried to learn other languages, I learned a little bit German and Italian and Spanish, which I can't speak any of them now, but my pronunciations were always good.
Right. You've since you came to America, there's a few songs that you've released that have become very well known for, especially for Iranians around the world, including I think your first big song, which was about 10 years ago, and it was a song called Esharat Nazar. Tell us about this song.
Yeah, it is interesting because this song wasn't supposed to be released at all. It was recorded in Iran, and the composer is Milad Derakhshani. We just recorded this song just for fun. We just recorded it and we just loved it. I sang it. I remember that we were at the studio from the whole night.
Wait, so you recorded this before you recorded this before you left
yes.
Iran? Wow, I didn't know that.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was 6 a.m. when we just came out of the studio and the song was finished. But we don't know what happened. Someone leaked the song and put it on YouTube. And at that time, nobody knew who was the composer, who was the singer. They just knew the song. And then Milad called me. He was so angry. I was like, dude, it wasn't me. Believe me, I didn't do that. And he said, okay, then I have to tell everyone that I did it. I wrote the song. And I was like, yeah, definitely do that. And then he did it. And then he put it in his album as well. And I sang as a backing vocal with him in his album.
So the version where you're doing the video from 2014 is what version? Is that the one that you recorded in Iran, or is that something?
Yes, it is the one that I recorded in Iran.
Amazing.
Even the video is filmed in Iran the night before I came.
So you sit on it for a while and put it out when you're in America, I guess.
Yes. Wow. The song came out and then the video came.
Let's play a little bit of this. This is Sara Naeini and the song Esharat Nazar from around 10 years ago.
نشود فاش کسی آنچه میان من و تو تا اشارات نظر نام رسان من و تو گوش کن با لب خاموش سخن میگویم گوش کن پاسخم گو به نگاهی که زبان من و توست لا 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 لا
Little taste of Isharat Nazar, Sara Naeini. You know, your voice is so great. It really is. And what's crazy about it is that you're just working through your back catalog of just recordings you've put out, whether they're on Spotify or just found on the internet or on SoundCloud or something like, or YouTube. I can't quite place. I mean, you have the perfect pop voice in a song like that. You're a jazz vocalist. You do classical stuff. You've got this piano vocal thing. There's the kind of stuff that you do with Reza. It's when you're writing an introduction for an artist like you tend to, despite your better interests, you try and pigeonhole them somehow. This is a contemporary jazz singer or something. It's really not possible to do with you. Talk to me about musical styles and seemingly your ability to just be free in terms of switching from one genre to another.
Well, actually, I always believed that my genre is pop, but sometimes have different tastes. Like it's a pop with a taste of jazz, it's a pop with a taste of rock, but it's basically pop. I don't see myself as a jazz singer because being a jazz singer, it means you have to be a great musician. You have to just play instruments and just have the great knowledge for music, and classical as well. I have a classical training, but I never loved it that much. That is why I just didn't stay with that. But I know myself as a pop singer, but I can just um, look into other genres as well a little bit in a matter of taste, not just do a complete thing. Like I like rock songs. I actually listen to rock songs all the time, and not jazz and not even pop. But when I sing, I don't like to go full rock. I like to have a taste of it, just a little bit of it, just maybe a soft rock or pop rock, but mostly pop. It's pop.
I used to take singing lessons years ago with an opera coach, and because I was a pop rock singer, and just to learn how to not lose my voice, I was taking these lessons, and we would talk about the head tones and saving your throat and the mixture of sounds coming from your chest and your head. And not to get too into the weeds with you, but it seems I don't hear a lot of Iranian female singers who use the head tones the way you do. You have a bright voice in like in a case like that song, that the top part of what you're singing is quite bright, which is very different from someone like Gugush, who doesn't use that bright tone at all. Tell me about that. Do you feel like that's what sets you apart a little bit?
I guess so, because one of the parts that singing techniques that I like a lot is using different resonances, different holes in your body to make different sounds. And I worked on them so hard, and I don't think other singers have put that much energy on just coloring the voice. But that part was interesting for me, so I just learned a little bit more about that, because I love to think that singing is like painting. You have to have different colors, just bright, dark, and so you can transfer this feeling that you have better to your audience. If, for example, if it says like navazish, it has to be bright. It has to have like lighter weight than like maybe something like faryad, which has a just darker, deeper, and just aggressive meaning. So you have to use other holes to make different sounds so you can transfer that feeling to your audience much better.
Do you care to give us any examples just in the air of?
Yeah. For example, if you want to say که ساقه نوازشه, you can sing that like که ساقه نوازشه, but you can say نوازشه, then it gets lighter, you know, like, or if I want to say جادو جادو کن و پیدا شوی گم شده در رویا. If I sing it like that, it's a little bit light, but it needs more depth, so I have to sing گم شده در رویا. Then it becomes a little bit deeper.
You broke the Zoom microphone. It caught you
sorry.
out there. No, it's not. We just couldn't hear when you went to the high note. Unfortunately,
sorry.
it cut it off. And Zoom doesn't, Zoom's like the Islamic Republic. Yeah. It's there's times when it says you can't sing. We're not going to let you on stage. Wow, that sounded amazing, though. And do people who, as a teacher, I mean, I'm assuming the people who come to you are people who are aware of are fans of yours? Is that the people who you're teaching?
Usually people who come to my classes, to my sessions, are the ones who already know me. And they know my style, so they come to me to learn those techniques. But I have had some people who didn't know me and came to the class. Well, it's better if they do, because they trust me better.
Yeah, they have a sense of, I mean, I'm sure they look you up. And I want to play another song that has become very famous and one of your signature songs, and of course that's Del Yar. And this is from about 6 years ago, and this was huge for you. It has over like millions of streams over 1 million streams on YouTube alone. Why is this song special for you?
Well, actually, this has the same story as Isharat Nazar. This song also wasn't released by us. It wasn't released by Reza or me. Someone else leaked it, and it was just everywhere. The song wasn't completely finished, and it was recorded before I come here. So it was recorded 11 years ago.
Wow.
Okay. And it was leaked years later. I love the song.
How many other killer songs are there that haven't been leaked yet that we can anticipate in the coming years from Sara Naeini?
I really don't know, but these two songs that are the most famous songs that I've ever performed were leaked. It wasn't released. They were released recently. Actually, Del Yar was released publicly recently, just maybe a month ago.
Let's play a little bit of Del Yar. This is Sara Naeini on Roqe.
نور آرام به درخت بارید، برگ رقصان به سقوطش خندید، باز پاییز شد و باد چرخید و هوس چو گیاهی مرموز رویید، او رویید و درخت از این همه درد چو نگاهم خشکید. ماه پنهانه و راه دشوار، من در حال غروبم این بار، باش در خوابم و در بیدارم و من رو در این تنهایی نگذار، با من حوصله کن در این شب کور، تو همیشه دل یار، تو شب بیدار منی.
A little bit of Del Yar, Sara Naeini. It's such a beautiful song. You know, a great songwriter once told me that I was interviewing him, and he said songwriters often and artists, recording artists, often try to create music that they think no one has done before, no one has heard before. But the greatest songs are the ones that sound like something you know. You hear it the first time, and you think that's something I've heard. That's a classic. I surely I know this song, and that's the way I feel about this one. It just the first time you hear it, you go, surely I've heard that before. That is such a beautiful, kind of iconic melody.
Yeah. This is the magic of Mr. Anushirvan Rohani, the maestro. All of his songs that we've heard and we all know by heart has this magic inside of it. Like every music that you just Gol Sangam or Faryad or just Dil Yar, all of these songs has beautiful magic. That what you said is exactly true. Everything that he just writes,
Yeah.
you feel familiar, and at the same time, they're so easy and smooth to follow, and just soothes us when we listen to. He's amazing. I was so honored, really.
And he did he perform with you guys when you had that big show last month in LA? Was
Yes, he did. He performed a medley of his all most of the famous songs that he has written on the stage, and he played Entezar with Nima Masiha as well, and it was great. Every time he plays, actually, my heart melts.
hmm,
He has this energy and beautiful smile when he
hmm.
plays that just mesmerize everyone.
Tell me about the relationship with his son with Reza Rohani, because I mean he's been in our studio and I've asked him about you. Let me ask you about him. What is it that works so well with you two as a on a professional level as music makers?
Me and Reza, you mean?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we kind of clicked musically because the melodies that Reza writes, I fall in love with them. I just feel them with my bones. And also, he likes the way I sing those melodies. So everything just came together, and we could work all these years, and we just could perform all these beautiful songs of his.
About 2 or 3 years ago, you and Reza started making these little videos where he's sitting at the piano and you're sitting there. They're not produced or anything. They're just you guys turn on your iPhone and you sing some of a song. And these have now gotten hundreds of thousands of views. Whose idea was that?
Well, actually, it happened during COVID when no one could go out. There wasn't any concert or
Right.
live performances. So we thought maybe this is a good idea. Now we can't go on stage. We have kind of a very small stage in our home for people. And we were surprised that everyone loved it that much. It was fun for us. Actually, we did it first of all for ourselves because we were bored. We wanted to do something.
Yeah.
So we started that. And then we noticed that, oh, people loved it as well. So we just continued.
Yeah. Some of them have a gazillion views. It's I want to actually go out on a song, Nafas, which you've said is one of your favorites. But before we get to Nafas, I have to ask you about the Uprising and the last year and a half and women, life, freedom. I follow you on social media. You were one of those voices out there talking about this, and it obviously hit you hard as someone who has your own journey from coming from Iran and now being in the States. Talk to me about what that period at the peak of the uprising was like for you, and as someone who wants to pass on hope to others, where you feel like we're at with change for Iran.
Well, even from the time it started, I tried to put messages and put the stories that has hopeful meanings and not I didn't want people to go to depression and just hold back because of these violence and the thing that they did to people. It was horrible. It still is. Um, I just thought maybe give the good aspects and like the times that people it looked that we were prevailing, we were just succeeding. I always like to put those moments there to just um, to show people that we can have that. We can focus on that part to just getting um, to just win, to just have the freedom and not focus on the bad stuff and hurtful stuff. I know they are there. You can't just look away. But at the same time, I thought maybe it was my role to just be a little bit more positive in that time. It was hard. It was really, really hard because I used to cry every day. And everyone, I think, felt the same way. Yeah. And then seeing those things happening to people is not nice. It's not, it doesn't feel good. But I thought, because I always sing about love and just positive and hope, so I thought maybe my role is this. So I just tried to be that during that time. And I still feel that I should do that. I just give hope and believe that we will prevail and we will be free.
Have you had a dream of you on a public stage in a big theater in Shiraz, singing on stage as the lead singer in front of your compatriots?
Well, of course. I think all of us living outside of Iran has this dream. And for me, actually, because I was raised in Tehran, I was just born in Shiraz. So,
I thought you were. I thought the whole time was Shiraz. You were actually in Tehran.
No. I was just born in Shiraz and I was raised in Tehran. Right. So I always have that venue that has Rudaki venue.
Yeah.
Beautiful venue. Yeah. I always imagine that I'm singing there, just with my outfit, with my like hair, and just perform in front of people. And I keep dreaming because I believe dreams have powers. And if we all have dreams that have good feelings, hopefully they will come true.
We've got to breathe. Nafas. I want to go out on the song Nafas. You said it's your favorite. This is another song that's written by Reza Rohani and Delshad Emami. Why do you love this song so much?
Well, the first time I heard the song, I thought it was talking about death. And death always have very deep, beautiful meaning for me. And when it says, چه فراری از پایانی که آزاد است, the ending is free, is I just feel it all the time. Every time I sing it, I feel it in my heart. And I think it's beautiful. It says من به نور و رقص و فریاد خوشبینم به تمام آنچه در تو نمیبینم. I think it's beautiful, and the music, the melody that comes with it, combines with it, it's so beautiful and gorgeous. Powerful.
Gorgeous. But tell me, can you explain what you mean when you say you find death to be beautiful?
Well, actually, I think it is the beginning of something new. When something dies, something new borns. And because sometimes people say we want to live forever. I'm like, no, you shouldn't, because other people should be born and everything should be just uplifted. If no one dies, nothing new will happen. So I think it's beautiful in that sense. Not that I don't want to live, because I love life. Right. But death, it can be beautiful because something beautiful can happen after that. I
mean, if you can really embrace, do you really embrace that though? I mean, I've always been freaked out by death. The fact that it's inevitable, like our own impermanence, you know. And so I mean, can you own that, or do you? I mean, are you going to be okay with dying? Is that?
Actually, I am.
Huh.
Because of the incident that I had.
Right.
I think it is so close, and so it can happen so easy.
You fell from somewhere, or so, I don't even
I
know
fell
exactly.
from the roof from 4th floor to the yard.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't die, of course, but it was so close to it. I was so close to it, and I felt that it was so easy. So in one moment you are here, and the second you can just not be here, and you're gone. It is that simple.
Yeah, life can turn really, and that makes it feel okay. That
yeah. The time that it's the right time, then it's okay. I hope that I have done everything that I'm supposed to do in this world, and which for me is just to love as much as I can, and spread the love as much as I can. If I do that, if I'm a good person and people believe that I'm a good person, then I'm good. I'm good to go.
That's so beautifully said. And I'm sure all of us hope that you're around for many years, because I really love what you do musically, and I can't wait to hear all the other songs that get released that you actually recorded in Iran.
Actually, I'm about to release an English song.
What?
The first song, yes, the first song that I've ever written myself. I wrote the lyrics, I wrote the melody, and some of my a friend of mine just arranged it in Iran, and it will be released very soon.
I mean, I hope you tell us. Like you know.
The song name is "Lie to Me."
Wow. Is it a command? Please lie to me, or is it? Or
yes, it is. It's a command.
Wow.
It's about feeling so good that you don't want to see that it's a lie. So you keep saying, I'm feeling good, just lie to me. That's fine. I know that it's a lie, but I feel good.
Right.
Just keep doing it. It's about my time that I had something like that. So I wrote it back then. I think there are people who feel that way as well.
I feel you for sure. I feel that way when people tell me I look good without my riche. I say, yes, please lie to me. Keep saying that. Sarah, I really appreciate the time. I really appreciate what you do, and I'm so glad to have you on Roqe. The only thing that I wish is that next time we do it in the studio and in person, and maybe even get to hear your voice in our studio, it would be amazing. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for inviting me. It was so fun. I enjoyed it a lot, and I always wanted to talk to you as well and be in your show. So thank you very much. It was an honor.
Hope to see you soon. Merci. Khuda.
Hope to see you. Thank you. Bye.
That's Sara Naeini in Los Angeles. What a pleasure it is to have her on the program. This is Full Time for Roqe for today. Remember, for all things Roqe related, you can go to our website, roqemedia.com, roqemedia.com. All of our episodes are there, and our back issues and our videos and our funnies. It's all there. Thanks to the amazing team who put this show together. Super P, Super Parisa, Smart Pegah, Savvy Roham, Bearded Omid, Talented Anahita, Methodical Kaveh. Thank you to all of you out there supporting us and sharing our content. Do subscribe if you haven't done so already. You can find me on Instagram at Jian Gomeshi. As ever, Mizun Bashin. And let's go out on that song we were just talking about with Sara. This is Nafas, Sara Naeini.
تو ای نفس آغازین ای دور از درد آرام آرام به تن من برگرد تو ای نفس آغازین ای دور از درد آرام آرام به تن من برگرد چه فراری از فردا که بر باد است و تمام آن دیروزی که که در یاد است، چه فراری از کابوس، صبح و شب در آن محبوس، چه فرار از آن پایانی که آزاد است. من به نور و رقص و فریاد خوشبینم، به تمام آنچه در تو نمیبینم. من به لمس خوشبختی گرچه با همه سختی، به تو گفتن از آن رویای دیرینم. تو ای نفس آغازین، ای دور از درد، آرام آرام به تن من برگرد. درون نگاهت آوازی هست و میل به رفتن به تازه های دور از دست. در اوج صدایت ای سکوت آهنگین، چیزی از رهایی پیداست، چیزی از عاشقی آن تنهایی رنگین. تو ای نفس آغازین، ای دور از درد، آرام آرام به تن من برگرد. چه فراری از فردا که برباد است و تمام آن دیروزی که در یاد است. چه فراری از کابوس، صبح و شب در آن محبوس، چه فرار از آن پایانی که آزاد است. من به نور و رقص و فریاد خوشبینم، به تمام آنچه در تو نمیبینم. من به لمس خوشبختی گرچه با همه سختی، به تو گفتن از آن رویای دیرینم. تو ای نفس آغازین،